This is ABC7 News at 5. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, I'm Haley Wilde.
And I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll get to our top stories in just a moment, but first, the latest on the tropics.
We are monitoring a system that could dump a lot of rain on the Suncoast. ABC7's Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan is joining us now with the latest.
Thanks, Haley. Yes, the system is still a tropical depression. Just got back from the National Hurricane Center, the reconnaissance aircraft, indicating that the winds are still at 35 miles an hour. It has not gained much strength, and the pressure really hasn't lowered much today. That's because of the interaction with Cuba. Right now, it's located about 80 miles or so just to the north of the western tip of Cuba. You can see all the deep convection mainly south of that, and that's a result of still some shear that is taking place, and that shear does not allow storms to enhance or develop that quickly. But that's going to move away from that in time. You can see it right now rotating and spinning, so we definitely have rotation at the surface. It is moving off to the northwest, and eventually it will turn more northerly. Here are the latest coordinates with the system. Tropical depression number 9 moving to the west-northwest at 5. The pressure really hasn't dropped much at 1,007 millibars. The forecast path, some good news coming on this front is that the line or the cone of uncertainty, the southern end, has been shifting northward with every successive run. So last night it was all the way down to Charlotte County, and now it's all the way up just at the border of Manatee and Hillsborough County. So that's a good sign, but still we are in for a tremendous amount of rainfall. It looks like we could see anywhere up to 7 inches for much of the area, and some isolated areas up to 10. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. With this storm possibly impacting the west coast of Florida later this week, boaters are being warned to be ready.
Boats have capsized or caused a lot of damage during some recent weather events. ABC7's Rick Adams joins us live now from Bayfront Park in Sarasota with more on the preparations. Rick.
Yeah, Haley and Scott, it doesn't take much for one of the boats back there to cause some big problems. That's why officials are urging boaters to be extra prepared.
Life and death. It's very important.
Michael Castiglione says he does everything necessary to stay out of harm's way on the water, especially when there's a threat of a big storm.
We actually go down and dive on our anchors and make sure that everything is secure there. We lock the boat down, we dog all the windows down and the hatches and make sure everything is sealed.
Right now, the Bradenton Beach Marine Unit are going around to each of these boats on the Intracoastal, urging them to secure their anchor. It's their way of taking a proactive approach ahead of any storm. It's a message Marine officers are hoping boaters hear loud and clear.
Trying to make sure everybody's going to have their anchor line secured ahead of this storm so no boats are breaking loose, okay?
In addition to having the anchor secured, Marine Officer McGill with the Bradenton Beach Police Department says there are other important steps boaters can take to remain safe during a huge weather event.
Make sure, obviously, their personal flotation devices, to make sure they've got their lines are secure, make sure if the line even looks like it's going to be frayed, get new lines.
Boaters on the Intracoastal and Bradenton Beach have reason to be extra careful and cautious. Back in June, several boats sunk, and some of the boats caused damage to the Bridge Street Pier and the day dock when Tropical Storm Cullen slammed into the Suncoast. It's something the city's mayor and experienced boater Bill Sharon doesn't want to have to go through again.
We have to be aware of the storms and take action, and especially too, we haven't had a major storm for 10 years, so a lot of people are a little bit complacent.
And Marine officers say they will continue to crack down on unsafe boaters, even ticketing them when they have to. Reporting live from Sarasota Bay, I'm Rick Adams. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Rick. And with the potential for that stormy weather this week, epidemiologists and emergency managers are reminding people to get rid of standing water after it rains. Scientists say getting rid of the potential mosquito breeding grounds will help prevent the spread of the Zika virus. All mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water, but those that cause Zika are especially fond of man-made containers.
Go outside physically and see if you have any containers. They could be anything like a saucer under a flower pot, anything around the awning around your house. It could be something more notable, like a used tire that you just forgot to recycle.
There have been more than 500 travel-related Zika infections in Florida and another 43 that were locally contracted. Of those, 70 involve pregnant women.
Now to a major murder case in Sarasota County. A homeless man will spend the rest of his life in prison for killing his landlord. During a hearing today, John Melquist received the maximum possible sentence. In July, he was found guilty of second-degree murder after a week-long trial. Investigators say Melquist killed Annalie Schweikert on April 9, 2003. Her body was never found. Melquist claimed that he last saw the victim when he took her to the airport, but investigators found the victim's blood throughout her house and signs of a cleanup. Plus, Melquist's fingerprints were found on a mop. Melquist represented himself during the trial and the sentencing. He says he plans to appeal.
New developments tonight in an attempted murder investigation in Northport. 25-year-old Joseph Herrick is now in police custody thanks to help from the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office. Herrick was wanted in connection to a stabbing on Myrtlewood Road on Friday. Police say 24-year-old Randall Cassidy was stabbed multiple times. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to recover from the injuries. Police say Herrick and Cassidy knew each other.
Manatee County paramedics are learning how to better help patients with mental health and substance abuse issues. The county is launching its new community paramedicine program. It aims to prevent unnecessary hospitalizations, increase access to primary care, and cut down on hospital readmissions. Paramedics will work with those struggling with mental health or substance abuse issues. They will also help patients who frequently fall, have a heart or respiratory problem, or call 911 3 or more times a month. The program is currently being funded through a grant, but is included in next year's proposed budget.
ABC7 business commentator Richard Stern joined us now with news of a very strong start of a new week on Wall Street. Richard?
Scott, you're exactly right. When I was here at noon, the Dow was up by 110 points. We finished with a gain of 108 points, so not a bad afternoon, not a bad day to start the week. And of course, a lot of it has to do with the reaction to the announcement on Friday by Fed Chair Janet Yellen that perhaps a rate increase is in our future, but not in our immediate future. Surprisingly, financial stocks and insurance stocks were very strong today. Believe it or not, they can actually be beneficiaries of higher interest rates. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, all three indexes were in plus territory all day long. Advances were ahead of declines by 3 to 1. And just a plain old strong Monday. So let's take a look at the figures, and indeed attractive they are. There you see we're above 18,500. The Dow gained 107.59 points, almost 0.6%, closing at 18,502.99 on volume of 718 million shares. The NASDAQ was the weakest link of the day, and it was up by 0.25%, up just over 13 points, closing at 5,232.33. That on volume of 1,809 million shares. And the S&P had a nice day, up just over 0.5%, more than 11 points, closing at 2,180.38. Okay, the big day is coming. Save the date. The date is Wednesday, September the 7th. That's next Wednesday. And what's the big date about? Well, Apple is finally going to be having a, quote, event. That's their word for it. Most people expect they are going to be releasing information on the, iPhone 7. It is expected to have a dual lens camera, what they're calling professional class waterproofing. It will be thinner than the 6. It will have stereo sound, and the new version is expected to be pretty much a hot seller. One thing that they're also going to be talking about is the iWatch, which was released 15 months ago, and most people think has not been terribly successful. So probably you're going to see some changes to the iWatch as well. But a week from Wednesday, 1 o'clock local time, you're going to hear all about it, the big event.
Something we always look forward to see what they've come up with next. And Richard, late news on Hershey.
Yeah, not very sweet news, unfortunately. Shares of Hershey down 11% after their perhaps merger with Mondelez is no longer perhaps, it is no longer. And the stock fell very sharply on that announcement.
All right, thank you, Richard.
You're welcome.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, remembering the 1,800 people killed in a history-making storm, how New Orleans' mayor is honoring the victims killed in Hurricane Katrina.
And ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your full weather forecast, including an update on the tropical system. Plus, an unusual decision by a pharmaceutical company. Mylan announces it will now offer a cheaper EpiPen. Details in Health Smart.
What does it mean when New South Window says factory direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. Replacing your windows will not just beautify your home, but save you big bucks on your energy bills. I've done the research. I've seen the factory. New South Window is my hands-down choice.
New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
A message from the Pulaski Law Firm. You started there right out of high school, learned your trade and did it well. And the asbestos you handled, well, that was just part of the job. If you worked in the trades and were diagnosed with mesothelioma, get the best care available, then call us. You may be entitled to financial compensation without ever going to court.
Call 800-236-4994.
And see how we can help. Mesothelioma, don't fight it alone.
City of New Orleans remembering the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina today, 11 years after the storm. Katrina made landfall on August 29, 2005 between Grand Isle, Louisiana and the mouth of the Mississippi River. The Category 3 storm, when it came ashore, killed more than 1,800 people and displaced more than 1 million in the Gulf region. FEMA has called Katrina the single most catastrophic natural disaster in U.S. history. Today, the mayor of New Orleans and other city officials took part in a prayer service and laid wreaths at the Hurricane Katrina Memorial in honor of the victims.
For them, no family came forward to bury them, and some of them will forever be unknown. But they sit in silent watch. They sit in silent judgment and judge us and our city's progress, not by how far we've come, and we have come very far, but they judge us on how far we have yet to go.
Katrina is also considered the costliest hurricane in U.S. history, with the damage estimated at $108 billion, all within 90,000 square miles. Bob, it was a Category 3 when it made landfall, but it had the power and surge and everything of a Cat 5.
Yeah, and interesting to note, the National Hurricane Center, after Katrina was moved on in and everything was settled, they actually disassociated now the storm surge with the wind speed when they categorize these. So they no longer associate a storm surge with the category of wind speed. So that was a problem because people were looking at it as well, Category 3 or even a week 2 we can deal with. But the surge was up to 28 feet high in Mississippi, which it was devastating. Highest storm surge ever recorded in the United States with that, a lot of people are talking too, you may be seeing this on social media, about another storm system coming up on around September 8th or 9th. I just want to alert folks to the fact that it could be a big storm. However, there's still a long way to go before that system is even close to us. So we'll keep an eye on that and be careful what you get on social media. A lot of times there's a lot of folks that just kind of passing off data that isn't always that much accurate. And you can grab one model and really make it seem like it's a very tough storm, but other models not depicting that quite yet. Boy, we've had some tough storms here throughout the afternoon. Looks like the heaviest rain now still starting to move up from Charlotte County. We've already had a tremendous amount of rainfall. That's one thing that we're going to see with this system is a lot of rain. That's going to be our biggest problem, I think, with the storm. Not so much the wind. There's also a possibility of isolated brief tornadoes, too, with this kind of a system. But look at all the moisture well east of the center, which is still well hundreds of miles actually west of Miami. And you can see that moisture just kind of streaming up right now from the southeast. The storm center is right about here. And all the moisture now into the Bahamas, streaming over toward west central Florida. As I mentioned earlier, we could see up to 7 inches in a lot of areas, and even some isolated areas up to 10 inches of rainfall. Nothing like they saw in New Orleans with 30 inches of rain, because this system, we think, will eventually start to pick up some motion and movement to the north and northeast as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. But boy, big storms produced over 1 inch of rainfall in just a short period of time there near Osprey and also near Nokomis. Inglewood now getting some heavy rainfall with some lightning near 776. And get used to it. This is the kind of downpours we're going to see over the upcoming 3 days, it looks like, right through Thursday and even into early Friday morning before the whole system kind of moves out of here. Northport now getting set to see some moderate to heavy rainfall. Already seeing some of that now. In Manatee County, pretty quiet right now. There's not to say that there won't be more showers developing throughout the evening. I wanted to zero and then show you the rainfall just the last 12 hours. In fact, this is the last just a few hours with that one band moving through, and nearly 2 inches of rain fell in just a short period of time. And looks like 1.8 inches of rain just north of Nokomis, and also 1.2 inches of rainfall there in Palmer Ranch. So the ground will be saturated as more rain anticipated. This is the one rainfall forecast for the next several days, running in through Friday morning. And you can see the bullseye right there along west central Florida, from anywhere from Charlotte County and Lee County northward up into Manatee and Hillsborough and Pinellas County. That's the +4 that you see there. And we're anticipating 3 to 7 inches of rainfall, with some isolated areas possibly getting as much as 10. 81 degrees right now. The clouds are around. The dew point is at 74. Winds are out of the east at 11, and that pressure is falling slightly. The temperature 81 degrees in Jacksonville. Just to the north and west of that, Tallahassee now at 95 degrees. Temperatures have really cooled as a result of the rain that's moved on into the upper 70s to even low 80s right now. Inglewood now at 76 degrees. The water temperature is still very warm at 85. Well, here is Tropical Depression number 9, and it could be Hermine or maybe not. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but looks like this system moving off toward the west and northwest, and that's what it's moving at 5 miles an hour. The pressure at 1,007 millibars. That really hasn't changed much. It's going to get into an area that's more favorable for development. Less shear, and looks like a little bit warmer water temperatures here, and then it could turn into a tropical storm as early as tomorrow morning and then head off to the northeast. And this time frame right there would be Thursday at 2 o'clock, making landfall somewhere in the Big Bend area. I mentioned this earlier, that the cone of uncertainty is shifting northward as of late, and that is a little bit better sign for us here. Well, here's the 7-day forecast as we see it. Yes, keep the umbrellas handy and hold on to them tight, because it's going to get windy on Wednesday and Thursday. Right now, if we saw the system move along that center line, more than likely we would not get tropical storm force winds here, maybe occasionally, but we had the low end of those, anywhere from 40 to maybe 50 miles an hour. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. In Suncoast Traffic Watch, there's a crash on I-75 in the northbound lanes at the exit ramp for State Road 64, but doesn't appear to be impacting any traffic there. All green on the map at this hour. Also in Sarasota County, reports of a fire on Old Ranch Road at Mayaca Valley Trail, and it could be causing some delays in that area as well. Haley?
Thank you, Scott. In health news tonight, the pharmaceutical company facing criticism for increasing the price of EpiPens will soon offer a cheaper option. Mylan Pharmaceuticals says it will begin making a generic version of the EpiPen. They will sell for $300 for a 2-pack. The current price of an EpiPen 2-pack is more than $600. The generic version will be available in the coming weeks. Mylan plans to continue to sell and distribute the original branded EpiPen. It will keep the revised patient assistance program in place that was announced last week for the EpiPen. For adults with type 2 diabetes, following a Mediterranean diet, including at least 2 servings of fatty fish per week, may lower the risk of diabetic retinopathy, a serious eye condition. That's according to an observational study from Spain. People who were meeting omega-3 fatty acid guidelines when the study began were 48% less likely to have retinopathy. Researchers say it's hard to know whether the results would have been the same with omega-3 supplements, but salmon, shrimp, and light canned tuna are good low mercury options. The findings were published in JAMA Ophthalmology. It appears being old and wise also means being happier than when we were young. Older adults may not be as physically healthy or as mentally sharp as younger and middle-aged adults, but they have higher psychological well-being. In a study of the Journal of Clinical Psychiatry, researchers found those in their 20s and 30s had the lowest scores on measures of psychological well-being of all of the age groups, up to age 99. Older adults were associated with less anxiety, lower stress, and a decreased risk of depression. Coming up, chaos at one of the nation's biggest airports. Why this false alarm could lead to a federal investigation at multiple airports. Plus, drones delivering Domino's, who the company is using with this technology to help satisfy your pizza cravings.
Hurricane season is here, so when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7.
We bring you storm warnings faster and with more detail than ever before.
And track storms right down to your neighborhood.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Turn to the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7. We're here for you.
Temperatures on the Sun Coast are rising and the deals are hotter than ever during the summer clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. You'll feel cooler than ever when you drive away in a new Jeep Cherokee for as little as $19,999, or take home a stylish new Jeep Renegade for just $17,999. How about a new 2016 Jeep Patriot for just $14,999? Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers, high rate and high pay, never leave you alone.
Debt is really sucking the life out of them. He's picking up the phone.
Oh, no, not consolidated credit.
With one call, they can lower their credit card rates.
And consolidate their bills into one low payment.
They'll pay off their debt in no time.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
Because debt sucks.
Call 800-201-0230. That's 800-201-0230. Call now.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
Batteries Plus bulbs keep stacks of batteries for cars, cell phones, watches, plus light bulbs for lamps, can lights, and appliances right on hand. Did I mention we also repair smartphones? Batteries Plus bulbs. Trust the plus. Visit Batteries Plus bulbs today. They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
A scare at a major U.S. airport sends passengers scrambling, running out of the terminals, even onto the runway. But reports of an active shooter at Los Angeles International turned out to be nothing, according to police. The false alarm started Sunday night with a 911 call about a man dressed in a Zorro costume, armed with a plastic sword. The scene caused chaos for travelers and airport workers.
All of a sudden, there was a flood of people that came running into the bathroom saying there was a shooter. I mean, everyone was in a huge panic.
We immediately started running, went through an emergency exit that was close to a gate, ran down onto the runway.
Well, this comes just weeks after chaos erupted at New York's JFK airport. That scare was prompted by loud noises from Olympic celebrations. Now, one lawmaker is calling for a federal investigation into airports' emergency responses. A New Jersey transit police officer is being called a hero for saving a man from being run over by a train. Authorities releasing video of the incident in North Jersey on Friday. They say a man was lying on the tracks just as a train was approaching the terminal. Officer Victor Ortiz tried to pull the man off the tracks, but he wouldn't move. They kept pushing and pulling each other, but Officer Ortiz eventually managed to get him from the tracks just seconds before that train would have hit him. New Jersey Transit says the officer put his own life on the line to save that man.
You could soon see more drones flying above. The FAA's rules for the commercial use of drones go into effect today. Under the new rules, drones may not fly higher than 400 feet or at night. The drones must be under 55 pounds and must remain in the visual sight of a human operator. The FAA regulations say that operators will no longer need to get a pilot's license, which is expensive and time-consuming. Instead, now drone pilots must pass an aeronautical exam. Domino's is testing out some new delivery technology in New Zealand that, guess what, involves drones. The pizza chain says customers receive alerts of the incoming food on their smartphone, and the drones actually lower the pizzas using a tether, as seen here. New Zealand will start testing the service with customers next month. No word if America will see these pies in the sky anytime soon, but we sure hope so.
Imagine how hot they'll be if they're not going through traffic and waiting for lights.
They get right to you.
They get right there in no time.
And the newsroom, I mean, we eat a lot of pizza here, so we're happy about that. Well, still to come in your Suncoast News, we're just hours away from Tuesday's primary election.
My Sarasota County election officials believe there will be a large turnout in the polls for this year's election.
Stand out in your new WILDE Lexus. Now is your golden opportunity to lease a new 2016 Lexus ES350 for only $329, or enjoy 0.9% APR, just $329, exclusively at WILDE Lexus of Sarasota on Clark Road.
Oh, your spokesperson. This is an important message for anyone who took the prescription drug Xarelto or Pradaxa and had a serious bleeding event. If you or a loved one took Xarelto or Pradaxa and suffered from a serious bleeding event,
call 800-220-8268 immediately.
Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to serious internal bleeding, stroke, and death.
Call 800-220-8268 immediately.
You may be entitled to compensation. Call now for a free consultation.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, we make sure you get the most for your money. More years, more miles, and when you're ready to sell, you'll get more money back. Come fall in love with the longest-lasting vehicle in its class, the Subaru Outback. Or lease a new 2017 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Or get 0% financing right now during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Welcome back, two of my favorite guests, Cash 3 and Play 4.
Surprise! We're Pick 3 and Pick 4 now.
Whoa!
But we still play exactly the same. We just got a fresh new look.
Speaking of surprises, I have one for you. Say hello to Pick 2 and Pick 5!
Introducing the complete Pick family of games.
We're family now.
The new Pick 2 and Pick 5 have joined Pick 3 and Pick 4 to give you more choices in your daily gameplay. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Stand out in your new wild Lexus. Now is your golden opportunity to lease the bold new 2016 Lexus RX 350 for only $419, or enjoy 1.9% APR, just $419, exclusively at Wild Lexus of Sarasota on Clark Road.